Welcome, YouTube, to our episode 359. We're about to tape a podcast. Usually we're on Facebook Live, but we've decided to make the switch to YouTube. Hopefully some of our viewers will jump along, although we haven't really told anyone yet, so probably not.
So you're here, so thanks for being here.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for checking us out. This is our first YouTube episode. I'm here with Iyaz the Wolf Akhtar.
That's me.
We're going to be starting our podcast shortly, but just wanted to run down our list of headlines for you. We'll be talking about Netflix's earnings, disappointing earnings, and the fact that they blamed us, by us being the media, for their subscriber woes, as well as we'll be talking about Pokemon Go again.
You can't avoid it.
You can't avoid it. As well as Leslie Jones and her Twitter account. And
so Leslie Jones is a different Pokemon?
She's not. She is one of the stars of the latest Ghostbusters film, and a victim of just a huge amount of Twitter harassment. Really since the movie premiered. It's funny though. I mean, the movie did pretty well. I think the reviews have been okay, right?
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it yet.
Nor have I.
But the reviews, I think they were mixed to positive, I think.
There were so many articles explaining how internet movie reviews are broken based on this particular movie because it skews, males seem to hate it, females seem to love it.
Right.
This before it even came out, so
Right.
I haven't seen a lot of
Yes, there was
breakdown.
definitely a lot of judgment ahead of time. I saw the trailer. I wasn't super impressed with the trailer, but I didn't hate it. I wanted to give it a shot. I still do. If I ever actually want to watch movies, I would give it a shot.
Yeah, you don't sound bitter at all.
Yeah, that's the new dad in me. So, just a quick note, please, if you have any questions about any of these topics, definitely just shoot them over in the comment section. Our producer, Brian, will field them and we'll answer the questions after the actual podcast taping. So, with that, Brian, you want to get started?
I'm ready when you guys are.
All right, start the countdown.
And audio to speed. Take away the recording in 3, 2.
Welcome to the 359, where we talk about the top tech news of the day and all the other crap we want to throw in. I'm Roger Cheng, and with me is the esteemed Iyaz the Wolf Akhtar.
Oh, woo.
All right, I wanted to start with Netflix, which reported its worst subscriber gain in 3 years. But they don't blame the price increases that are being rolled out to customers. Netflix says it's the media's fault. What do you think? That's a weird excuse that they're all out there for an earnings call,
I read
right?
the excuse. Now, Hastings was saying that in April it trended a Netflix price increase, and it was spiking there.
Right.
And people who weren't even subject to the price change were canceling.
Yep.
So that seems to be a part of it. I don't know if the press is it or people just freaking out, because it's really easy to freak out. You saw a price hike and you're like, no,
Right.
but why would you leave? It's $1 increase.
That's the thing. It's like, are people really freaking out over like this $1 a month increase?
Man, I think it could just be the principle of the matter. How dare you give me such a cheap commercial-free service for $9, now it's $10.
Well, it's interesting to know, like Amazon Prime broke out their video service for $8.99, so they're undercutting Netflix. The options are not, the selection of videos are not the same, but there's definitely competition out there, right?
Yeah, there's other services that are vying for your money, but I still think that Netflix, they've had a very interesting history when it comes to quality of video, but the originals that they're coming out with, the movies, the original series, documentaries, that whole slew of content is so rich that I think they have a pretty good set of content compared to any other online streaming service.
Yeah, it looks like this is going to be a long-term effect. They warned that the next quarter subscriber growth was still going to be pretty muted. So we'll see. I'm sure there's a lot of confusion out there. I mean, I got my email notice that my price is going up next month, so not going to make me want to cancel.
Were you infuriated at yourself because you reported this, Mr. Pressman?
I wasn't. I took it pretty calmly, knowing that a new season of Voltron is going to come out soon. I'm gonna want to watch it. So
I don't know. I could see the backlash being because of Adam Sandler. Like, oh, we're going to invest in quality content.
That's true.
Stop backing Adam Sandler. More Voltron, less Sandler.
All right. Next up, we want to talk about Pokemon Go again.
Well, you do.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
The game is reportedly set to launch in Japan. Its home market finally tomorrow, and this comes as the company's market value has doubled since the game is launched, and is actually worth more than Sony now.
This game's been out for what, like 2 weeks now?
Yep.
And they ran into lots of server issues. You saw the R-Mine hack. I'm sure you talked about that. Well, not hack, sorry. It was a DDoS.
Yes.
It's not really a hack. What a
Although,
jerk.
was it really that effective? Because I was able to play over the weekend. So
Look, I don't think Pokemon Go servers need any more load.
Right.
Doing this is, I thought it was a complete jerk move. I know they want to say that they're claiming that we can show you how to secure your servers.
Right.
But with Nintendo,
Sort of like, here, please hire us. This is how you stop
that's a really weird way to get a job. But
Yeah.
Pokemon Go being in Japan, I'm sure. Hopefully they have enough servers to handle that. It's been like a phenomenon. I don't think I've seen anything like this where people in New York are talking to each other when they're playing. Like they're strangers like, is that a Pidgey here? I've got 50 of them. I don't need another Pidgey.
No, there's definitely that social element where like people are interacting and meeting each other because of Pokemon. So
It's weird.
It's weird, or is it just touching?
I think people are touching. That's the problem. I think Pokemon Go is just amazing right now, and I don't know. Do you think it's going to last any further than this?
I don't know. Like right now, it's sort of that perfect time. We've got summer, kids are out in school, the weather's nice. We'll see once like storms start hitting, it gets colder. We'll see if people actually want to go out and play. All right. Lastly, Leslie Jones, one of the stars of Ghostbusters, called out Twitter trolls for the disgusting, racist, and sexist comments that battered her account. Does Twitter have an obligation to clean up these kinds of attacks?
I mean, Twitter has tools for the users to block people. I think that's relatively important. And if you can report users, I think that's their duty. But I don't know if Twitter can go out on its own to play policeman.
Well, it's interesting that she actually actively unblocked it. She wanted all these tweets to show up on her feed so she could show the public just how bad things have gone. And it's crazy for like a movie like Ghostbusters, which already had its fair share of negative reaction, that she got such a huge brunt of the heat.
Pretty ugly.
Yeah, it's gotten really ugly. So, want to know more about these stories? Check us out on CNET. I'm Roger Cheng.
I'm Iyaz Akhtar.
Thanks for listening.
And we're cut on the recording,
All right.
but we're still live on YouTube.
Awesome. All right, YouTube, you've got any questions? Now's the time to ask them.
I thought we were done 35 seconds. I'm like, oh crud! What's the quickest thing to say about that? I've gotten a couple of nice racial slurs on YouTube.
Yep, same here. Oh yeah.
And I'm like, wow, I haven't seen one of those in a while.
I remember writing about Trump's comments about making the iPhone here, and I sort of talked about the economics and why that's kind of impossible.
Well, yeah.
But I remember the Twitter reaction was like, oh, like you're an expert because your brother is back in China to make these phones. Like I had some really terrible comments that came. I feel like that's part of the Twitter culture, which is one of the issues that the company has.
Yeah, I mean, people are going to say stupid things no matter where you are. It's just the fact that they have keyboards and there's anonymity and they can hide behind either like a little egg avatar or whatever it is. It's a real problem to see that. If, sometimes I see the people who are just flat out hateful and they're honest about it at least, and like they're consistent. And sometimes I'm like, well, okay, that's impressive that you're consistently hateful, but it's just the nature of, well, humans essentially. Like, and when you have a tool like the internet, it's
going after the worst common denominator there, and because you have that freedom, you have that anonymity.
Again, I mean, I think sometimes at least I've done this in the past, where I neglect the positive comments I've seen, and I've seen some really nice things from viewers out there.
Well, for sure, the negative stuff always stands out in your mind, right?
Yeah,
like I can't really recall like the more complimenting comments that I've gotten on Twitter, but I definitely remember the negative ones.
Well, I think in Leslie Jones's case, it's like a perfect storm because Ghostbusters, it's like a beloved franchise.
Right.
It didn't matter who was in the movie, honestly.
Yeah, it was going to get a lot of heat no matter what.
Yeah, and so the remake issue is, I haven't seen it, I don't know what it's like. I heard it's okay.
Right.
I know it didn't outperform Secret Life of Pets, which I'm surprised that in its second week beat Ghostbusters.
I don't know. I feel like the buzz for that movie was so high that people were, and it's like it's a family film, right? It's more of a family film than Ghostbusters.
I saw Secret Life of Pets. I thought it was all right. It wasn't great or anything.
Good to know. I'll know not to watch
It's
that.
about a 6 out of 10.
All right.
But Louis C.K. is the lead dog, okay?
Oh, really?
And they changed his voice. They altered it. And I'm like, that's Louis C.K. He's got a distinct voice. Why would you do that?
Yeah, it's
now,
good
Louis
voice.
C.K., if he was in Ghostbusters, probably watch that. I don't know if he is.
All right, Brian, are there any questions or comments?
So one person just thinks that Iyaz's mustache is sexy.
Thank you.
There you go.
I just got some new white hairs in there this week.
That probably adds to it, the distinguished
Yeah,
look
I've been
you
working
put
on
off.
this mustache for a couple of years now, and
I'm jealous. I can't grow a mustache.
You can, it
I'm
just-
physically unable to grow a mustache.
it might not be as full.
Definitely wouldn't be
And this
full.
mustache is nowhere near as full as like Brian's mustache is a work of art.
Yeah,
If
can we
you
get
take that?
a sharper look at your mustache, Brian? Because that thing is awesome. Look at
See,
that.
I cannot do that.
Beautiful. I'm jealous.
this
I
is-
definitely can do
We
that.
have reached the mustache and beard hair, the facial hair love portion of the show.
I'm pretty sure Bonnie's gonna love this conversation. Just moving back on to Pokemon Go. Just curious. whenever we talked about this earlier, there's always the hype about Nintendo and its association with the game, but it doesn't actually make money directly off of Pokemon Go, right?
Right, because Nintendo is a third partner
Yep.
of the very creatively named Pokemon Company.
Right.
With 3 different members own that. But I believe Nintendo has a share of Niantic, which makes the game.
Yep.
But Niantic was spun off of Google after the whole Alphabet thing. So there's a whole lot of things that Nintendo's getting indirectly.
Right, and for shareholders wanting to like capitalize on the Pokemon Go phenomenon, like Nintendo is still the best bet. But it's just interesting that all those in-app purchases that Pokemon Go is generating, that doesn't go to Nintendo's coffers.
But Nintendo could use this kind of leverage in the future to say, hey, listen, we want a cut of this
Yep.
in the future. Maybe they do have I don't know if they have a cut. But I don't know what the terms of the deal is with Niantic, honestly. Maybe they do get a cut.
Maybe.
But that's totally speculative. I have no idea.
Right.
So maybe in the future when they do other mobile games and they work with other developers, they're going to be like, hey, we were really important and integral to this game, although I don't know how integral they were other than intellectual property.
I believe that the Niantic folks mentioned Nintendo as a key partner during like the initial announcement, but that could mean anything, right?
Because they had Ingress, which is like the same game,
Right.
and had a lot less users and because it was weird then. Now it's like, yeah, it's Pokemon, so it's totally cool that I'm like hiding behind this van today.
Right. Just lastly, do you think that Nintendo or Niantic or anyone can repeat the success? Is Pokemon Go sort of a one-off for them?
It's a one-off. There's no way. I don't see this is going to be like, oh wow, this is going to be the start of AR games, because everyone's going to be like, oh, it's like Pokemon Go.
Right.
And like, well, I can play Pokemon Go, so why do this? Now maybe there'll be a variant, like 3 years. But like we've seen a lot of these flash in the pan games.
Yep.
Like, Words with Friends was super hot. They had Draw Something.
I mean, Angry Birds was the original super hot killer app that
Everyone was
had
playing it,
right?
like-
And it just sort of fizzled. So
Yeah, because they had like 1,000 iterations of it. But then again, Pokemon in general as a game has survived iterations. Pokemon
Yes.
Red, Pokemon Yellow, Pokemon this, that, the other
That's
thing.
true.
So if anything's able to survive iterative changes, it'd be
Pokemon.
that, because everyone's kind of used to it already.
right. All right, let's wrap things up. Brian, any last questions before we go?
Well, people would like you to revisit the price changes and what's happening with Netflix for those who joined
Oh
late.
yeah, just to recap. Last year, Netflix actually put in the price increase for new customers, so it's $9.99 for anyone signing up
For the standard plan.
for the standard plan, and which isn't that great actually. But
It's
there's
2
like,
screens HD.
It's 2 streams HD. But for existing Netflix subscribers, you were basically grandfathered in at the lower price for about a year, and now that that year is sort of ending, a lot of people are getting their price increases now, and it's getting phased in sort of a slow rollout. So some people are already hit with the price increase. I, for instance, will hit mine will actually go up in August. Others will probably go a little later. But we're starting to see the impact of it now, and Netflix blames the press, but it's the subscribers who are actually canceling.
They
So-
still have the basic plan, which I think remains unchanged at $7.99, which
Right.
doesn't have HD one stream. They have the I forget
the
what the
HD, it's a 4K
It's
plan.
the Ultra
It's-
HD, and it also has, I forget how many streams you can
4
have.
streams, I will say.
But it's
more
like
than-
like $12.
Yeah,
So even
yeah,
the most
yes.
expensive one is $12. That
Yeah,
one
yeah.
hasn't changed, and neither has the basic.
Right.
It's just this $8.99 plan moving to $9.99.
It's really the plan that everyone is on.
Yeah, it's the one that's the most popular.
Yes.
But
So-
it's also like it's not that. I got my increase about last month, and I was also like, oh, what is this? I'm like, oh yeah, but it's also
It's $1.
it's $1, and I watch enough Netflix where it's valuable
worth
to
it.
me.
Yep.
So I could see people just seeing the word, price hike, or the phrase price hike or
Right.
increase. You're like, why? No.
And they've been trying to massage this, saying it's not really a price increase since we did the price increase last year. You guys are grandfathered and you got extra time to save out on that extra $1. But for most people, their bill will go up $1. So.
Yeah, but that was odd though. You like what you just said. Like you had like a year of using your
Right.
old plan price, and but people aren't happy about that. Maybe they didn't.
They didn't. The thing is, I don't think a lot of people knew. They didn't know until the headlines started popping up that your bill, specifically you, the existing subscriber, will pay $1 more. Like that's when they started caring, right?
Yeah, I mean, and that was the other thing because people. I remember the headlines would scream like percentages wise.
Yep.
Because it's a huge percentage
Yes.
jump.
Yeah,
$1
yeah,
and $9 is huge.
Right.
But like when you think about it, you're like, that's what is that, like a buttered roll from a Roach Coach? Like that's not that expensive a
Right.
thing to get.
I don't
So
even know what I can get for $1. Actually.
$1 you
point.
could get maybe.
Snickers bar?
No way. Maybe
Really?
maybe a fun size.
Yeah, you're right.
Well,
they're
we're in
more
New York,
expensive.
though, so, like,
things are a bit more expensive.
Yeah, maybe
So.
like in Wyoming you could get like the moon.
All right, let's wrap things up for reals. you liked anything you saw or heard here, check us out on CNET.com. Our podcast is available on iTunes, Google Play Music, TuneIn, SoundCloud, and Feedburner. Did I just get that right?
Yep.
Thank you. All right. We will see you tomorrow. I'll be off, but Ben Fox Rubin will be here to lead the show. So talk to you then.
The Fox.
The Fox.